Hello, Internet, and welcome to Wednesday's Serial for comics from March 10th, 2010. This should be a shorter week. I spent what would actually be considered a reasonable amount of money at the comic shop this week. I was disappointed in myself and I hope you can look over it for me. First up is Amazing Spider-Man 624, written by Wade and art by Azteca, and I have to say, this week took what I didn't like about the art from what I said last week, just mostly that the line art doesn't look as tight and that the inking is kind of more reminiscent of this 80s style. And it just felt like it got sloppier, and I don't know why, but it's just going in a direction I don't like. The story is still pretty solid though, but I wouldn't recommend picking this up if you're not already invested in the story. Then there's the fifth and final Sword comic with story by Gillen and art by Sanders, and I'm sad to see it go. Beyond Beast looking like a deranged Furby, this was a really solid series, and I really enjoyed what it did to expand the Marvel Universe. And I really feel that's what all these mega crossovers are killing, is expanding this universe because no one wants to buy it. So hopefully we'll see some turnaround with books like that, but until then it's sad to see stuff like this go. Next up is Rebels 14, and I have to say, this is a quality book every step of the way, and wrapping up this huge story arc here in just 14 issues is a really big feat. And the way that there's a little twist at the end that's leading into the next comic, or next section of comics, I think is just going to make it all the much greater. And if you're looking to jump on with this book, I'd wait until next month, but it's definitely worth going back and backtracking. Secret 619 came out, and it is just a great comic. It's really interesting to see the start of a new storyline, which is a lot different in this comic, whereas a lot of other ones are so worried about everything tying together and flowing so fluidly. This is just the start of a new story, and whereas events that happen with the characters kind of transfer over, it doesn't really affect the events of this story arc, and it's just kind of refreshing to see a book that's willing to jump around a little. Then, because I was looking for an independent, I tried Avatar Press's Captain Swing the Electrical Pirates, with Warren Ellis being the big name on the book, obviously, and I have to say I wasn't that impressed. The entire book is just one long chase between a couple of old school London cops and Captain Swing, and throughout the chase you get these little diary entry pages which reveal a little bit of the character of Captain Swing. And Captain Swing only has one line of dialogue at the very end, spoilers, but not really, where he just says, "fuck the law," and that's all the characterization you get. And for hooking me on a book which is clearly based on this character, it just didn't feel like enough, and considering that all that happened in this book was clearly he was going to get away from these cops, maybe they play a bigger part in later, but I'm just not hooked from what just felt like so little for what clearly went into so much effort to create atmosphere and what level of technology of steampunk would be used, and etc, etc. Just the more important elements to me were lacking. So that's it for Wednesday's Serial this week. If you want, drop a question, comment, insult, curse, whatever, and with a video or text response, and I'll be sure to respond back in kind.